Good day, hockey fans, and welcome back to Across the NHL. Today we are tackling one of the most indefensible aspects of professional hockey: fighting. While every other major professional league has rightfully banned fighting, the NHL continues to allow players to pummel each other in what amounts to sanctioned violence. This is not just about tradition or toughness. This is about real people suffering real consequences, and it is time we stopped pretending otherwise. The reality is stark and uncomfortable. Fighting in hockey has destroyed lives, ended careers, and left families without fathers and husbands. Yet the NHL continues to defend this practice as if it were somehow essential to the sport. It is not. It is a relic of a more barbaric era that we should have left behind decades ago. Let us be absolutely clear about what we are discussing here. We are not talking about the occasional scuffle or heated moment. We are talking about a league that officially permits two grown men to grab each other and throw punches to the head while standing on razor-sharp blades. Imagine if the NBA allowed players to have boxing matches during timeouts. It would be absurd. Yet in hockey we call it tradition. Before we continue, if you believe it is time for hockey to evolve past this dangerous tradition, please do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Across the NHL. We are not afraid to have the difficult conversations about our sport, and your support allows us to continue bringing you honest analysis. The NHL's justification for fighting is paper-thin. They claim it serves as self-policing, that it prevents more dangerous plays by acting as a deterrent. But this argument crumbles under the slightest scrutiny. If fighting truly prevented dangerous plays, we would see fewer injuries in hockey than in other sports. We do not. In fact, hockey has one of the highest injury rates among professional sports, and fighting contributes directly to that statistic. Let us talk about the real human cost of this policy, because the injuries are not abstract statistics. They are devastating, life-altering events that have destroyed players and their families. Consider the tragic case of Donald Sanderson. In 2009, this 21-year-old junior hockey player died after hitting his head on the ice during a fight. He was not even a professional yet. He had his entire life ahead of him, and he died because hockey culture told him that fighting was part of the game. His death was entirely preventable, and his family has had to live with that knowledge ever since. Then there is George Parros, whose career was nearly ended in 2013 during a fight with Colton Parros, an experienced fighter, lost his balance and fell face-first onto the ice, lying motionless in a pool of his own blood. He suffered a severe concussion and facial lacerations. The image of him being stretchered off the ice should have been a wake-up call for the entire league. Instead, fighting continued as if nothing had happened. Todd Fedoruk's injury in 2006 remains one of the most gruesome fighting injuries in NHL history. During a bout with Derek Boogaard, Fedoruk suffered multiple facial fractures, including a broken cheekbone and eye socket. The injuries required extensive surgery and metal plates to be inserted into his face. He was never the same player again. His effectiveness diminished, and within a few years his career was over. All because the NHL decided that punching each other in the face was an acceptable part of employment. Speaking of Derek Boogaard, his story is perhaps the most damning indictment of hockey's fighting culture. Boogaard was the prototypical enforcer, standing 6 feet 7 inches tall and feared throughout the league. But the cost of being an enforcer destroyed him. He fought through constant pain, became addicted to painkillers, and died of an accidental overdose at just 28 years old. When researchers examined his brain, they found severe chronic traumatic encephalopathy. His brain tissue resembled that of a much older person who had suffered decades of trauma. Boogaard's family sued the NHL, arguing that the league was responsible for his addiction and death. While the lawsuit was eventually settled, it exposed the dark underbelly of hockey's fighting culture. Players were being prescribed massive amounts of painkillers to keep fighting. They were suffering brain damage fight after fight, and the league looked the other way because fights sold tickets. Bob Probert's story is equally tragic. One of the most famous enforcers in NHL history, Probert fought substance abuse throughout his career. He died of heart failure at 45, and his brain showed clear signs of severe CTE. The man who entertained millions with his toughness died young, his brain irreparably damaged by the very thing that made him famous. Steve Montador played over 570 NHL games, accumulating countless fighting majors and hits to the head. He died at just 35 years old. The autopsy revealed extensive CT. His family described his final years as a struggle with depression, memory loss, and erratic behavior. The game he loved literally destroyed his brain. Wade Bellick, Rick Rippon, and Derek Boogaard all died within a 4-month span in 2011. All three were enforcers. All three died young. The hockey world briefly mourned and discussed fighting.